Okay, so first of all, friends, thank you all for being here. It is our third guest speaker call. And once again, I brought you here, in this case, Zeugh. Zeugh is also a Vinci member. And so he also joined our second batch along with all of you. And Zeugh has a very particular experience. So he's from Brazil, he's living in Europe, and he has been building and working side by side with many DAOs and communities for I'd say what, 1 year, 2 years, something like that.
About
Perhaps.
1 year.
Yeah, okay. So I don't want to give much more context because you and me, we both met already, but I really want you to introduce yourself and perhaps we can start exactly from there. Like, who are you and what made you come to Web3? What has been your experience so far?
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Bernie. Nice to meet you all. People that I don't know yet, people that I already know, Rita there, and I'm like, yeah, hello, friend.
Yeah, you are both from Crypto Coven, right?
Yeah, we just together, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Well, I'm Zeugh. I've been working in building communities for DAOs for about a year now. I've been doing communities for tech and experience in communities and digital products for like a little longer than that, for about like 3-4 years. And well, I joined into this Web3 world of communities instead of like just communities as a whole, just focused into communities for Web3 after I found out about DAOs. I started like been following crypto for a while, then suddenly I start seeing more and more DAOs become a thing. I knew DAOs existed, but never seen too many tooling around it, never saw too many things that could actually make DAOs work for broad cases. And then suddenly I start seeing more of that. And I'm like, okay, I've been doing communities for tech innovation for a while now. I've been involved with politics and social movements for a while now. I think I can bring my experiences and different things together and get it all together and do community management for DAOs, for Web3 communities. That's kind of how I started going in, starting joining Discord servers, trying to understand how those communities worked, trying to analyze like what are the structures that are being used here, because I used to do Discord service like before for both like gaming communities. I did that for tech products, and I started seeing like, okay, this is different, but it's not a better different. Web3 communities are still like lagging behind. Those guys are great in tech, but there's some stuff here that like still not right. They're like 15-year-olds playing video games all night through, and they make better Discord servers than this $1 million business dude. We got to change this. That's how I like started looking and saying, hey, can I help in here? Can I help in there? And started doing some community here and there. Since then, it's been a year since I like left my job and joined like full time for that. And well, what was very much a natural flow of someone who used a lot of Discord through his life since the beginning of Discord, like testing new features, testing new bots. It's become from that natural flow to now that's something I have way better studied, have crafted one or two leading theories that I use to build new communities. Currently, I'm working in Juicebox DAO. That's about a year that I've been there, helping build communities, relations with other DAOs, other Web3 business, and also working in Origami. That is a platform for launching DAOs, for investments, bridging Web2 to Web3 through DAOs. So what I do most of my days is starting new communities, getting a new community and saying like, hey, you guys are starting this new project, you need a community. And they come to us, we support that creation, we analyze the members that they have, understand like what we call the three pillars, the onboarding, engagement, and rewarding, to try and like make the correct experience, generate good incentives for good culture so the community can maintain itself. And that's basically what I do on the day-to-day, analyzing what a community needs and how to set automations, structures in a safe way for them to be able to do it. I'm from Brazil. 26-year-old. Zeugh's not my real name, but even my sister called me Zeugh at this point, so my real name kind of stayed behind. And well, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll send it here. See someone asked for it. It's Zeugh
Yeah,
from
I'm just
Canoe.
doing that. Yeah, whatever.
Well, I don't know, Bern, you want me to go a little bit more into Canoe and that kind of stuff, or you have any other questions you want to bring in first?
Yeah. So first, I really want to deep dive into what you told about DAOs. So there was a moment for you. So you were already in this thing of communities, and just like you already, I have a ton of experience in the politics and social movement side also, where we see a lot of different things that we can now use in communities. But what were some of the key aspects of DAOs that actually like made you stick to it?
Well, that's
What was that the moment like? Is it about like a flat organization? Is it about governance itself? Is it about I don't know, like to me,
I
for
think
example, yeah, go
go
ahead,
on,
my
go on.
man.
Okay,
Okay.
I think the thing for me that when I got like through that rabbit hole was when I was looking at Brave browser mechanic, right? So when a browser that when I use, I see ads and I get paid for my attention. That first moment when I realized this was a model, I was like, okay, this is interesting. Like, let's look into it. And as I started going, like, I want to understand more how that could happen in other real cases. Because a browser that paid me $5 a month for my attention, it's not something too relevant, but it's
Yeah.
interesting. And what if that was a supermarket? What if my grandmother that bought her favorite cookies in the same mini market in her street for years could have voted against the fact that her cookies were removed from the market. So now she has to walk 2 more blocks, and she hates that. She talks about that. And well, I mean, she's been a loyal customer. She would have a lot of tokens by now if that was that DAO owned business. And
Now
that kind of
staking,
thing,
yeah, staking cookies.
expanding those models into other spaces in real life and understanding what the power of that could be was very interesting for me because first of all, it creates better business. Second of all, it creates fairer, like more fair models for working. And then I started like actually looking into DAOs. And then I started seeing founders that created awesome business having to vote and propose their payments. So every single user and member could vote. How is that founder created the business is going to get paid because it's a community that manages the treasury. So everyone chooses that together. So and that level of distributing power between everyone that's involved in the system has so much potential for making things work better, for making things like that we can actually create new business, new models that will have an impact in making people's lives better, not because they get something as a donation from anything. It's not like money from taxes from government. I'm not saying I'm against that, but that's not what it is about. It's about like taking this things at our hands and saying, hey, we can do this as long as we're able to coordinate. The thing that DAOs bring is like we're now able to use high level technology to coordinate humans in a way more advanced way than what we've been doing. So why wouldn't we? Because we don't know how. Because we don't have very structured, very efficient communities. We're still very bad at that. We're very early on having community power. So there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to study. I'm talking a lot here, but I want to let everybody know that I feel that I know nothing, that we're always starting, that maybe in 5 years' time, I'll actually know enough about building good, awesome communities to like actually make changes in how we organize as groups and communities. But we're all learning together and here to share a little bit that I've learned in this year.
Yeah. So, my man, you mentioned there 1 to 2 key aspects that I'd love to dig in. So the first one is coordination, so human coordination, and the second one is that these community-driven companies that we now call DAOs, it is still too soon. Like most of them have barely no money. Most of them are still struggling in terms of governing people and how to take decisions and should tokens be the democratic factor or not, whatever. So a bunch of different things going on. So my question is really, what is the role of a community manager, and what do you see in terms of the future of the community manager and community professionals in building this vision that we have of humans across the world come together and there's a certain goal or purpose to work together and achieve a certain objective or a certain goal. So what is the role for a community manager, how important it is, and what do you see in terms of the near future?
Well, I think one thing that's very important that we moved towards in this community management area is understanding that community management is an area. It's not a role by itself.
Yeah.
It is also a role, but there is community design as a role. You can start, look at a community, understand how it should work, what are the premises, what are the values, the incentives. Then there's community engineering, like actually taking that design and setting up the structures, the automations, the bots, to find a way that can work the easiest way possible. The design creates the experience you want. Then the engineer looks at that and understands what is needed in technology so we can make that work the best way possible. Do we need our own app? Maybe we do. Maybe we have a community of 100,000 people and we need our own mobile app where everything runs through. That's kind of like our approach in origami. We build the platform so DAOs can have everything, like integrate all they need from governance, token distribution, newsletter, updates, all in one platform. Because for some DAOs that's needed, but there's no one size fits all. And then there's community management itself. And that is a lot of small things that go together. For me, the most important part of my role in doing that is like constantly updating in what's the sentiment analysis around the DAO. What is working? Of course, metrics are like essential, like being able to look at your server, look at your community. Is it Twitter, Discord, discourse, like whatever it is, and being able to see like what attracts people, where are they engaging, where are they not? Is this how the design was made to work? Is this the kind of culture we want to incentivize? Are those people interacting here, benefiting each other, or are they like having just a waste of time in here? And if it's a waste of time, is this a community that is focused on wasting some of your time because it's fun, or is it not? Is this a building focused community? Is it a trading community? Understand what it is and helping nudge, just gently saying like, hey guys, let's have this talk about this topic today. Bringing a new article, cleaning, making the cleanup of a server that it maybe has some channels that are useless now and are there just clogging the view, or merging some channels, or taking up one channel and splitting into two because the conversations inside of it are starting to drift in two different ways, and maybe you have a better quality of life inside the server if you create two out of this one, but maybe you have to merge them again later. And how you manage this information, how you make sure that all that was talked in there can be like the member that left 2 months ago because, I don't know, he broke his leg, was having a hard time in his life, his mother was sick, I don't know, but he had to spend 2 months away and now he's back. He loves the community. He just couldn't be here, but everything changed. How you get this guy up to speed again? Are you gonna do that manually for 100,000 people? Do you have a system to keep that up? Do they know how to find the system easily? I think those are all elements that as the community evolves, I think the part of the management goes a lot into this, being able to understand this feeling, provide the right content, provide the right structure, and help guide who needs. Like, of course, you're always going to be answering questions in the support channel. There's always going to be a support channel, and people are going to be tagging you like crazy. And Discord is going to be in your dreams. You're going to be sleeping, and you're going to hear, doo-doo. It happens. That's okay. But that cannot be the only thing. That's moderation, right? Moderation and community management must be better distinguished in Web3 yet. We have, I see some mods doing community management and getting way underpaid. And I see community managers getting super well paid to do just moderation. And I'm like, dude, that's just lack of clarity of roles. And moderation is super important. You can be an amazing mod and a terrible community manager. You can be a terrible mod, like I am. I'm not a very good mod. Like, I have problems with banning people. I don't like kicking people off, but sometimes people need to be kicked away for the health of the community. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you need to use the band hammer, and I hate it. So I'm not the best moderator. I'd rather set up a structure where naturally and automatically it will restrict things that generate like hate comments and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a little bit of what, I don't know if I answered the question. You got in the
Yes,
topic
you
that I like
did.
very much.
Yeah, bro. And let's keep doing that, because even the other day we were talking on our Discord at Vinci. I think it was like between me and Martha and George and a couple of others, and we were exactly talking about like the future of community managers and Web3 community professionals and how we see the thing evolve. And just like you were saying, like community management is these two things. On one side is almost like a discipline or whatever, call it like you want. But on the other side is a bunch of different roles where we also have the community manager, or as I tend to call it, both me and John, we used to call and laugh a bit about it, which is we call community managers not just community managers, but indeed community experience managers, because they have to overtake the entire experience exactly, you know? So community managers, they are not there just to manage. Like manage is about managing resources and stuff like that. A community manager has to take care and ownership of the overall experience. And I think it is pretty funny to talk to you because you have all this experience and you see exactly these same roles getting shaped, like the community designer, the community engineer, someone to take care of analytics and stuff like that, whatever. And even more, I think like communities will evolve into like sales departments and marketing and perhaps even legal and stuff like that. And so, yes, but regarding automation, you were telling that you use, or sometimes you prefer to use automation to take care about moderation. And so I'd love to pick your brain there. And yes, let's now jump into Canoe for you to explain what is Canoe, how did it born, or yeah, how you have managed to build Canoe, and what is like the typical use case that you use Canoe. And then we can jump on origami and Juicebox also, because I think it would be awesome for you to give us a bit of context on both of those projects. So Canoe and then Juicebox and origami.
Perfect. Well, Canoe is a DAO. Zeugh and Bernie coined a new buzzword. I like it. I like your buzzwords. Really fast. Because ADHD in a chat, my brain just goes off. So Canoe is this DAO that I've started about 10 months ago, right after I had joined Web3, had started doing community management for Juicebox with another friend that was working in tiles.
Bro, let me interrupt you. I am going to share the link here, okay? So canadao.xyz to everyone. I'm just sharing it. Yeah, go ahead, my man.
Well, we were doing different communities, doing social media in one, Discord design in the other, doing community management as a whole, getting like new members in, onboarding them, walking them through the process. And we realized that doing that by yourself in a community sometimes is not ideal while you're still like learning how to do that. So we got some community managers together and started a DAO to provide community management as a service. What happens is the DAO pays Canoe. Canoe passes on 70% of the community management payment to the community manager and keeps 30% in its own treasury. Then Canoe also hires developers and researchers to keep up research in new ideas in community management, because for governance, for community building, new platforms, new bots, we then have those researchers looking into it, reading articles that are coming out by Orca Protocol, by Noses, by Hive, by Giveth, lots of people that are thinking community besides us in lots of different ways and trying to understand what they're doing, bringing new things. And then we also have devs in there. And the idea here is that as community managers are out in the front, in the communities that they are providing a service, that they are part of, that they identify. We never deploy a community manager that does not identify with the community. That's one big thing for Canoe and for me. A community manager cannot manage long-term a community that he doesn't feel part of. If you don't share the memes, if you don't understand the memes, if you don't understand the culture, That's not the community you're gonna do the best job. You can do a favor for yourself and find another one where you'll be happier, and do the community a favor of opening up space, helping to bring up someone who deeply identifies and who can learn the management part, and then help him through it. But well, we have the community managers out in the communities. We have weekly, 2 times a week sometimes. We have meetings inside where we bring back what's happening, what's the demand, what's the feedback in the communities, and we bring it back in, talk with devs, talk with researchers, and from time to time, we will either find new tools that the researchers are finding, or we'll be building the tools that we feel like that we lack. For example, in Juicebox, we felt that having Juicebox is a treasury management protocol. So it takes payments and it keeps in the treasury and manages your payments from there automatically on chain. So it would be important for communities that run in there to have all those data updated real time on their Discord servers. And there was not such a thing because Juicebox was like 2 months old when we started working with them as Canoe officially. I was there earlier, but as I created Canoe and we got with Juicebox was like 2 months old. So there was nothing like that. So we built it. Then a GM bot. Now there are other GM bots, but when we made GM bot, like it's just a simple bot that counts GM streaks. So you can keep your members coming back to say GM. You create a prize depending on your community. Oh, first person to hold 100 GMs gets this thing. Or the one who's always on the top gets a special role and gets visibility in the sidebar of the channel. Depending on the community, being the #1 name on the sidebar is something that you want. If it's an investors community and you're a startup founder and you're in there, you want your name to be seen. You want those VCs to know your name. Maybe sometimes only visibility inside a community is already a big value to give. So GMBot's like a very silly way to work with different rewardings. You can create any reward on top of that. And the only thing the members gotta do is very simple. Come home, come here every day, say hello, say GM. With that, they'll keep an eye on everything that's happening. They're here every day. They see that this one channel has messages, and once a week they might click it, they might read it, they might go through that one channel that it's not the standard one. They only chat in the general chat or the NFT trading one. But today in the DAO governance, it doesn't stop beeping. They're curious and they're here every day. So sometimes they click it, they expand, they interact with other people, they build better bonds between the community. So these kinds of things, as we've seen the need for them inside the communities, we bring it back to Canoe and we try to design solutions to provide those experiences. Of course, we do not only use our bots. The main use case for Canoe is what we call a starter package. We have this group of community managers. There's always some new community managers, some leave, some like it's always circling as it's a DAO. But we have this group of community managers in there, and as we get lots of requests for community management, we'll allocate an experienced one and a new one into a community for 1 month to do their starting package. They will look at the community, study the values, the goals. Oh, this is a community for this thing. We're building one now for the first fully sustainable crypto-related blah, 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 blah city in South America. It's a city in Peru or Chile, actually. They're building, and they want to build a community digitally first. So everyone who's going there, when they get to have it built, it's already a community. So we deploy to community managers. We analyze user types, analyze like stakeholders, benchmarks, study how to do that, propose what type of culture, what type of dynamics and goals do they want to see inside the community, and then build the structures to let it happen. We do that in 1 month. And then if the community managers feels like he fits in there, we might propose or might accept a proposal of staying longer term. Else we end in this 1 month and help them find another community manager, help bring them up to speed, but we never stay unless it's a vibe check between community manager and community. And yeah, that's our main thing right now is delivering those starter packages, helping communities come from zero to real, not to hero yet. 0 to real.
To real. Yeah, and that's huge, bro. So before we jump into Juicebox and origami, I just wanted to pick your brain for you to expand on engagement. So you've mentioned engagement on how just by having a GM bot and making people get back to your Discord server just for the GM, maybe perhaps the tip of the iceberg for people to stay longer, pick their curiosity and stuff like that. So my question is really like, what is a good engagement? Because when a couple of months ago I was reading, for example, the research article from Cooper, so Cooper Turley, he back then he had founded Friends with Benefits, and he came out with an article saying that per each 100 members that join your community, only one becomes a core contributor, like 1% of your community becomes core contributors. Barely 7 to 9% of your community members become like somewhat contributors, and all the rest 90% just like they are just to view, see things, engage from time to time, and that's it. So what do you think about engagement on a community, and what have been perhaps some of the mistakes that you have seen the most?
Well, first of all, if we're talking about Web3 and you have 10% engagement, you're like,
Okay.
congratulations.
Yeah, so we
Getting
are talking about 1 to 2%.
yeah, like if you're able to like there is this metric in like traditional digital marketing about how 10% participation is an ideal metric or something like this. And this is a dream for Web3. You're not gonna do it. Like if you do it, you're not, and you sustain it long term, that's because you're providing some real fine value, and you gotta understand why as fast as you can, so you can focus on keeping that value alive, because it's something hard to do. People in Web3, they have multiple communities, right? Uh, like I contribute right now for Juicebox, DAO, and Origami and Canoe, but I'm also building 3 other community DAOs for like by myself to friends. So, like there's always things going on. We're always everywhere, and that helps make them better. But that takes time away. You're always learning new things, learning new ideas, but you're not exclusively dedicated. That's rare to have, and
Yeah.
it's like sometimes it's important, but most times it's not even ideal to have that kind of thing. You want your members to integrate elsewhere. That provides value. People see your members in their community and they recognize, oh, my community and this other one have a 20% membership like in common. It
Overlap.
must
Yeah.
be interesting. I want to take a look at that. So that kind of thing is important. And in Web3, we must create ways to keep that up. How do I think that engagement is important, and how do I think that I see the mistakes? I think there are some classical things. Like I really think those invite contests, like, oh, let's see who invites more people, who gets more mystics levels. That's super good if you want to build something very like simple, and it's not
Based on
important.
hype and FOMO and stuff like that.
Yeah, if it's just a game, like if you're building
Yeah.
a community for a business, for a long-term community, you want to actually make something real out of that. And I'm not saying like real physical, real life, but something real, even if it's digital, that stays long-term. You should not work that way. If you're just launching an NFT community, just want to hype and some fun for like a couple of weeks, that may work. But I think those things are very much like, there are many times that people will mix those things. They will bring like engagement tactics for like fast, short-lived, big hype projects, and they'll try to apply that into long-term business communities of people that want to actually connect, actually exchange ideas, business, life, whatever it is. And those things are totally different. They're both engagement, but they'll just fool you in the matrix. That's
Yeah.
that's one of the things I see that I possibly consider more toxic. And one thing that I find that is very good is to understand what is it that your members want. Like right now, getting to origami a little bit. Through origami, I'm helping build community for 4 different DAOs right now, and they're all pretty different, but they all have some similarities, as origami is being acting still in a similar type of DAO for now. They're all pretty unique, but have some touching points. And there are some mechanics that will work in some and will not work. You do exactly the same thing on the other one, and it won't. Because you have to, first of all, look at your members, understand, like, when they come here, when they open this server, like, what are they looking for? What are they coming for, right? When I come to Vinci, when I open the Discord server of Vinci, what do I want there? What's the, both like the feeling, the experience itself, but also the like concrete value? Like, am I looking for information? Am I looking for contacts? Is it networking? Is it job opportunities? What are the drives that makes a community manager or any other user type, member type that you have in there find value in it? And then you look at that and you amplify that. Like in one of the communities we're building, networking is super important. It's a community of founders, startup founders that are getting together to invest in the next generation of startups through a DAO. They want to know more people. Maybe they're raising their Series A, their Series B, and the market is changing super fast. So maybe talking to someone who raised the same series like 2 years ago is not as relevant as talking to someone who did that a couple of weeks ago, because the market just keeps changing. So maybe they want those types of connection. What do? We have the GM bot. People come every day, but that was not the thing that made a big change. We created that every 15 days. We're gonna make a matchmaking system to get them on a room one-on-one so they can chat privately. Like
what's the tool? What's the tool that you are using for that? Because both me and John, we have been matching people all together. Yes, by going through their descriptions and all of that here on Batch 2. And suddenly I found this startup called Intros AI that allows you to connect people with, like, according to the interest, the time zone, or whatever. They just closed a huge round of 1.5 million 1 week ago. Intros AI, look for them. Intros.ai.
I will. We're doing that manually right now because we're still testing, but that would be something.
Yeah, and me and John, we were doing all of that manually.
Yeah, it's a good process, right? We're getting data through some forms, and we're deciding to make like 1 week lighter, 1 week heavier. So we make like in 1 week we bring people together who have a very similar interest, then one that is kind of conflicting, then very similar, then conflicting. So it's changed the rhythm back and forth. But well, having an AI do that for me would be amazing.
Yes, I'm just sharing the link now. Yeah, because both me and John, like, we want to peer people along with someone else for people to meet each other and all of that. And we were just doing all of that manually, like crazy, completely crazy. Like trying to match 52 people along with each other is completely crazy and unscalable. So yeah, whatever. This was me just picking your brain. But yeah, bro, can you just give us like 5 more minutes of your time to go deep into Juicebox? What is the mission behind Juicebox? What do you have been doing there? And also Origami. So what do you mean by helping DAOs come up to live, whatever, on Origami? I know both projects, but try to explain them as if people didn't knew them before. And then we can open the floor for anyone who wants to make any question.
Okay. Well, first, let's go to Juicebox first. Juicebox is this tool for crowdfunding through a community into a common treasury where you can manage together or have a manager for it, and you can choose how payments and how the money is used out of that treasury. I don't know if you guys heard of like Constitution DAO, Assange DAO, maybe Moondao. They're all projects that were built on Juicebox. So someone had that project idea, went into Juicebox and clicked permissionless, just go there, create, anyone can do it at any point, create new project, set all their treasury configurations, like, oh, how's my token issuance gonna happen? How much is a token worth? When someone pays, do they get the token right away? Or am I still holding the tokens until like, okay, now we launch the token? Or are we never going to launch tokens? Just a campaign, no tokens. It's just a crowdfund, like many different configurations. And from there, people will normally need to build their communities for the projects to go on. One of the things I've been doing more throughout Juicebox, I've been pretty much helping people that need to set those configurations. That is what I'd call helping the internal community of Juicebox. So people who are coming to us for help, people that are part of the Juicebox product itself. They're using Juicebox. They're users of the community I manage, and giving support to them, helping them move through. But with time, what I've started to understand that Juicebox forms its own ecosystem. So it's a community of communities. And what I've been doing since then mostly is helping those communities set on their own servers, set on their own communities. So you launch a project. I get a quick jump in there, look at your member types, have a 1 hour call with you, like, okay, for this project that you're building, looking at your configs on your treasury and what your goals are, this is what we should do. It's been pretty fun. Right now we have some very interesting projects. We have Zeugh, that's a governance system that they don't need my help. They're building their community pretty well. I'm super proud when, like, I see Juicebox projects happening, and Zeugh was already a project before Juicebox, right? So they already came in with a strong community using the tool, and like very, very nice community they have. Other one is Domain DAO. They want to buy the .dao address and manage it through a DAO. So instead of paying .io, .ixyz, and getting all this money into some billionaire pocket, we can get all this profit together and choose what to do. So we can reinvest that money back into new DAOs to support the decentralized ecosystem. They're also funding through Juicebox. I'm also helping with their Discord server design, hosted Twitter spaces with them. So a bit of what I do in Juicebox. Juicebox, when I joined, was like about a 300-person community, but like, I'd say, I don't know how many active ones. When I started doing community management there, in no way the growth of Juicebox is like because of me. I'm just there helping keep things going like safe and smooth, bringing bots for security, dealing with spam. We get lots of spam in my tree. We got lots of scams of like people trying to make social engineering hacks, and it's part of your role as a community manager to keep your community safe. So understanding a little bit of bots for security, like captcha bots or moderator bots, and how to use them well in a way that it doesn't hurt your members, is important. So I'll be more like they're helping, supporting that growth. But we've come from like 300 members to right now having 11K, I think, on Discord. I'm gonna make sure just to check to be sure I'm not saying bullshit to you guys. Oh, we hit the 12 now, actually 12K now. And it's been a growth that happened through projects that come. The devs in Juicebox are very good. They're building a very beautiful protocol, very optimized, and people who launch their projects like it because it's well done. So most of our growth is because projects that are like have a good idea of a project, look for a good platform, and they find Juicebox that provides all the things they need. So they'll come to launch through us, and then their users will come to Juicebox too. So that's why it's a community of communities, because our users are like the ones in Juicebox, but the ones in the projects in there too. So it's a pretty interesting mechanic. As for origami, I've been into origami for about a month and a half now, so I'm not sure there's like too much for me to talk. But origami is this platform for DAO launching, made by the same guys that created Orange DAO. Well, they made Orange DAO, and in 6 months they had some $100 million in the treasury, or in valuation actually. And they're like, okay, we should do more of this. Like, this works pretty well. There are more business that would like benefit, more groups, more communities that could benefit from doing this. We should help this model spread. So they created the platform that makes it way easier to do it. And I just joined in a little while ago. The process we make is that you have this, or you already have a DAO and want to change the management style because you need more tools, better tools, or you have a company Web 2 that wants to transition, company Web 3 that wants to start a DAO, or just a community, a large community of whatever it is, gamers, fans of something that wants to start a DAO to co-invest in things. So we have all this legal structure for making this perfectly fine to do. And well, we do the NFT issuance for membership. We do the token issuance for actually ownership and governance in the DAO. And then we also help them build their communities. That's my part in the role, find investors. So they manage the DAO, and the DAO manages the fund, and the fund that's sends money back into the DAO. So we help them find investors for here, manage things here. We do a little bit of all that's needed to give some support. We're lucky to find very great communities like VC3. That's the DAO of VCs from Kaufman. It's like, oh, they're walking with their own legs already. Like, I spent my first weeks kind of focusing on there, trying to give some support for building governance. But when the DAO starts like actually walking by itself, and you as an external manager, as a service provider, you feel that, okay, maybe they don't need me anymore for this. Oh, they have this trouble. Should I solve it, or should I just give it one more day to see who steps up? Just let me just send GM in this other channel and see if this beep brings someone that will solve that. And if it doesn't, I'll do it. But seeing as DAOs start walking by themselves autonomously, of like actually decentralization of like who has to do this? The task is here. Who's gonna stand up and do it? And you see people actually starting to do it. It's an amazing feeling. So it's been very, very good. It was only a month and a half, but very good to work at Origami so far. Meeting lots of different types of projects. Like, we're building now a DAO that are only founders of startups in Africa. It's a pretty interesting project. So you get to see all types of different people, and you have to find ways to make the communities work for them all with different tooling, different cultures. It's always worth it. Building communities like something of a passion. I love it. It's what I do, and I love what I do. So thanks for the opportunity.
Great, bro. I love to hear you, because you are very passionate about everything regarding communities, indeed. And I think it is huge. Like, I think it's really awesome to find someone in the Web3 space that is not just like intoxicated with all the hype and NFT stuff and stuff like that. Instead, having the opportunity to pick the brain of someone with such an experience like yours and hearing you out, I think is very, very rewarding to all of us in that sense. And once again, my man, thank you very much for being here. I just wanted to ask you all if you want to make any questions. So just like turn on your mic and feel free to do any questions to Zeugh. But also, if you want to make any other question, like in any other day, you can find Zeugh on our Batch2 room on our Discord server too. So, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions here, anyone.
Yeah, hi Bunny, hi Zook, Almas here.
Hello, Almas.
First of all, loved the session. Yeah, it's totally inspiring me to be the next female Zook. And like I'm on it, like I'll be following, I'll be spamming, or I'll be, you can say, spying your account, whatever DAOs that you are part of, whatever you're working. So next couple of weeks, yeah, I'll be on it. Yeah, for sure. So Zook, I have this peculiar question in the sense, like if you're starting from 0 to 1, you're starting a Discord community from scratch. We don't have a segmentation saying that it's for noob, it's for intermediate, or it's for experienced folk. So how exactly you bring all these stakeholders onto the same, like what kind of content or what kind of memes do they appeal? Because again, there are verticals, like be it NFT, be it DeFi, or be it anything. It has to be, you can say, from the manager only, like they will ask questions, probe, or spark those discussions. So I'm trying to understand like how exactly we segment, or how do we address these kind of stakeholders. Like any points will be helpful. Yeah.
Well, it's always hard to make a community work with different levels of experience. It doesn't matter the area that you're at, right? If people have different levels of experience, you have to take care with your onboarding, because you might make it very hard for someone or very boring for someone else. So it might be technically impossible for the less experienced, or it might become an experience that is not attractive to the most experienced. And then it turns useless, because the less experienced will lose the reference of growth. So this community doesn't go anywhere. What I find interesting is that Discord with bots and automation lets you create lots of flexible types of configurations for onboarding. So one community that I've been onboarded recently that had a very interesting onboarding, they had this system where you would progress through the stages of onboarding as channels would pop up. So
Yeah.
let's say you just get in, and here is like the basics about us. And you don't have to read through all of our materials. Maybe you can just click this one link here, and it will take you to a simple onboarding formula, a form, and you just go through it, give some information about you, show that you have experience, and progress right through all the phases. But if you want to walk through, if you want to get a tutorial and go step by step, you can. Like, you don't have to onboard everyone the same way, and you don't have to choose how they are onboarded, right? You can let them make their choice. It's like when you get into a new app on your Android or in your iPhone, and there it is like, oh, I want to see the whole tutorial. I want to keep the tips on, or I want to skip them. Both things are fine as long as the person is choosing. And what else is like super valuable always is having a very easy way to access support. Like if you have an FAQ channel, a support channel, a feedback channel, another channel with other type of support, and suddenly you have 12 places, you have documentation, then you have information, then you have news. If you have 12 places to go, the person who needs to find information, that is the person who's not used to your community, will never find it. And the person who will find it very easily doesn't need it. So the idea of like getting this info a simple, like make a one way in and then split, right? You're getting here you are, you're looking for support. This is general support channel. If you want this, click here, this click here, this click here. Then they know where to go to find it. They have that do you need help shirt in the store. Can I help you? That shirt on the store, it doesn't exist in Discord. We have to create it. It has to be a channel specifically, a bot specifically, and well, that's how I go about in like trying to deal with different experienced members. In Origami, we're dealing a bit with that. We have members who never had a wallet before, and we have members who have been trading DeFi for like 5 years. So we have very different types of members, and we got to get them both through. One thing that I do is many times I offer if there's like something that they have to do, an onboarding process, a new walkthrough, they have to access a new system, we're launching a new tool that they will be using. You can do it by yourself, or I'll be every week, Wednesday, 10 a.m. UTC. I'll be online in this server doing that for everybody to see how it's done and taking questions. So if you really know how to do it, here is the link, a tutorial, screenshots, and a little video. If you know how to do it by yourself, you just do it. If you want to read it and see how it's done, here it is. But if you really need help, here's a time every week that I'll be available. Because if people have to ask, sometimes they won't. So when you're ready to say I'll be here, it's a little bit easier. I'm sorry, got excited again, but I hope I answered your
No,
question.
that totally answers and sums, yeah, all of those queries. Yeah, you have already, you can say, done, tried and tested. So it's like, yeah, those all things are, you can say, falling in place. Also, like, how do you see your competition, or how do you take your inspiration from? There are so many Discord channels, so many DAOs. So, like, how do you come to a conclusion like this is the best for what kind of community, or do I need to try just because the competitor is trying? Like, how do you can say, come up to that conclusion?
Well, if we are starting a new community, I will try whatever I find that makes it simpler for my user. I want to have the most number of features in the smallest number of doors. So if I need 10 bots, so my user now needs to know the name of 10 bots, needs to know the commands of 10 bots, and he's not going to. He's not going to know how to use 10 bots. It's not he doesn't have to. That's not his job. He's coming to a place. You don't walk into the store and you need to know the password to talk with the cashier. You just talk to the cashier. So that's what you should be able to do. Get into the Discord and find what you need and like go through it as it's needed. So the one thing I try to do when there's like new tools, new kinds of things, understanding if it actually brings the benefit big enough to be worth the change. I'm gonna have to re-educate my community. I normally work with communities of builders. The guys that are coding 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. They're like loving that stuff. Every time they have to stop to go to Discord, I know it's not their favorite thing on the world. They like development, they like creation. Like it's another type of vibe. I love Discord. I could stay in there chatting the whole day. But that's not the standard user. So if I'm gonna bring a new feature, I'm gonna have to re-educate, recreate a culture. If I find it that it is worth enough, it's a very good tool. It will change quality of life, quality of work experience to a better point, then I'll bring it in. But I'll start using that with a small group. Get 4 or 5 people, get them together, start testing, find out the problems, create the solutions in a small controlled environment. Oh, okay, so this actually works for a community, or this does not work, or it works, but we just have to fix this one thing here, and now it's perfect to run. Now, bring the tutorials, record videos, put it live, make a session to walk people through it again. And yeah, then if it's worth it, take it slowly. Like we don't have to rush to most things. Like I know the Web3 makes us feel like everything is gonna end tomorrow, and if we don't sell 10,000 NFTs today, we're not gonna make it. But that's not true. This market is only going up and up. It is a complicated market because we deal with investment price fluctuation. So sometimes it seems terrible. But if you're building, and this is gonna be long term. This is not gonna end in the next bull or bear market. Those communities, those knowledges, the people you meet along the way that's going to start another business after that, and will remember that you were a very focused patient person building it the right way and not rushed through. uh they'll be there. And if you take it slow, if like not slow, right? It's still Web3. It's slow is like 3 days, but but give it some time. Like don't, oh, there's this new tool, I have to put it live right now. No, that's not going to be healthy. It's going to get your users confused, your community tired, and sometimes it's not even needed.
Yeah.
So in short, to summarize, like we are graduating from community experience manager to a product, you can say more of, you can say, revisiting and revising with respect to the feature aspect what the community wants, and the minimalistic approach, rather than having a lot of bots on the Discord channel, just have the few, the necessary ones, or what the community requires at the moment. Yeah, I get that. Thanks, Juice. uh, Thanks for, you can say, answering those questions, and really it made my day. It add more clarity with respect to how exactly a community needs to be dealt. And yes, Bernie, request for you, we should have Zoom more, you can say, on these kind of sessions, or more on a practical one, or more on community. We would like Zoom once again to, you can say, have this kind of session. I happy to, you can say, jam in once again. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Dude,
want
so here's the invite. Yeah, go ahead, Moment. Sorry.
1 second. I just want to make one thing very clear. That is, guys, I'm here speaking and I talk a lot and I do a lot of things. I've been doing, like, when I started this, I was doing 16 hours a day of studying and learning all I could. I read everything I could, but I am pretty new to this. Communities on Web3 for 1 year, other communities between every single type, we can put it like 4 or 5. But in this focus here, I'm pretty new, so take care with what I'm telling you. This is how I do stuff. Never assume it's the right way. You're probably gonna have to create your own ways. I hope that any advice I can bring is useful, but almas, don't be a female Zook, be an almas. It's gonna be way better. Like then we're gonna have diversity of shit, like that kind of thing. I'd love to build with you. Like, no way put on that symbol of like I know shit. I'm learning. We're all learning. Let's learn together. All this kind of stuff, because we just learn better if we learn together.
Yeah, completely agree, Zook, with respect to it. Yeah, yeah, keep sharing and keep learning. Yeah, that's what I see most of them, like whoever I meet. Yeah. And it's always like do your own research. In Web3 nothing is specific, and that's the reason we don't have any playbook even for marketing, Web3 marketing, or even for community as well. So it's specific, use case wise, it differs from community to community and person to person. Yeah, totally agree. Cool.
Great. So I don't know if anyone else has any other question, but we have passed already our scheduled hour. So I don't know if there is anyone with a last question. Okay, okay. So I just want to give you all a big warning that we are going to send you all an email, and that email is going with a link, okay? Once again, that link will allow you to mind the Pope to our guest speaker lesson with Zeugh today, okay? And so once again, thank you all for being here. You will get this email with the link for you to mind the Pope of our guest speaker, Zeugh. And Zeugh, my man, thank you very much, bro, for being here. It was awesome to have you here. And yes, let's keep in touch. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep learning. Let's keep building. And thank you. Okay.
Vernon, appreciate it a lot. Want to also invite everyone that may have interest to like join Canoe, take a look. It's messy, you know how it goes. Like when you do it professionally, like I don't know how to say that in English, but when you do it in Portuguese, we have that sentence that's like, if you do something for a profession in your house, like casa de ferreiro, espeto de pau. That is like if
Exactly.
it doesn't like you do it at your own place, it's messy. So our server is completely crazy. We have all types of experiments going on in there. We create different servers and channels all the time to try new things. But we're always talking community. We're always looking for it. So everyone's super welcome to take a look, to join us, see if it matches the vibes, see if you see like something to learn or something to teach in there. Beyond a DAO as a service, it's a DAO of community managers. So we're always there talking community management. If you want to research or read our researches, it's all in there and you're all invited.
And thank you, my man. Yes, so I will share with all of you on our Discord all the links that Zeugh mentioned today, from Juicebox to Origami and Canoe DAO. And also his Twitter handle. Once again, I'll share it on our Discord. And as I've mentioned before, so Zeugh is a member on our community, so feel always free to just mention him, like spam him, okay? Feel free to do it. And yes, so let's keep talking, let's keep learning all together, okay? And thank you for being here. Have a great day or evening, wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Yeah, see ya.